The acrid smell of smoke rising from frying times, roti times, pans clings tightly to your mud and sweat-caked uniform. The afternoon sun at the border encampment along the line of control scorches your back, turning the air into a massive furnace. You are 19 years old, a private in the regular Pakistan Army. 2 years of service have dragged by in maddeningly tedious border patrols, desperately sleepy night watches in the bone-chilling mountain cold, and the deafening shouts of your commanding officer. Your world revolves entirely around dust-covered, rusted rifles and bland canned rations that chew up your gums. In the stifling mess hall, reeking of curry and onions, there is always one name mentioned in hushed, reverent whispers. A phantom called the SSG, Special Service Group. There isn't a single promotional poster tacked in the hallways. There are no public recruitment drives on the radio or television. You cannot take a form and walk into a civilian center to sign up. The Pakistan military system operates on the ultimate motto: faith, unity, discipline. And the SSG is the most ruthless blade of that discipline. They only select those who have already been molded, knocked down, and stood back up within the military ranks, those who voluntarily step out of their comfort zones to knock on the doors of hell themselves. You look down at your calloused hands, covered in bleeding scratches. That night, under the flickering oil lamp, you grit your teeth, taking a stiff pen to write your name on the volunteer application. You are 20 years old. You stand in a perfect square formation at the training center in Cherat, an incredibly remote and unforgiving mountain town. You officially pin the identification number of a candidate to your chest. No more name, no more past. 90% of the men standing next to you today will be washed out. And the elimination never happens because they are physically weak. The third night of Hell Week. Not a single minute of sleep. The most brutal physical endurance test begins. You must complete a 36-mile march across steep mountain slopes within a maximum of 12 hours. The mountain wind howls, lashing your face with freezing blasts of air like needles. Immediately following that is a 5-mile run in full combat gear weighing over 30 kilos. A canvas rucksack stuffed with boulders bears down heavily, crushing your shoulder. The strap of your G3 rifle cuts into your collarbone until it bleeds, soaking your wet undershirt red. You gasp for air. Every breath inhaled is freezing and raw. Your lungs burn as if inhaling hot coals. Your heavy tactical boots, caked in slabs of slushy mud, drag step by agonizing step over the rugged, gravel path. About 5 meters ahead of you, a former comrade from your infantry battalion staggers. The toe of his boot catches on an exposed tree root. He collapses hard. A dry, sharp crack times echoes through the dead of night. His shin bone snaps, piercing through the skin. He clutches his leg, rolling on the ground littered with jagged rocks. His face is contorted, twisted in ultimate agony. Blood pours out. "Don't leave me!" he screams pitifully, his trembling mud-caked hand reaching out to tightly grasp your camouflage trouser leg. "Help me up! Drag me with you, please!" You freeze, both feet planted firmly on the ground. 2 seconds pass, feeling as long as a century. Your heart pounds, spiking to 160 beats a minute. You look at the familiar face, desperately pleading for help. Then you look up at the steep, murky, seemingly endless path ahead. The biological clock in your brain screams. The 12-hour limit allows for absolutely no hesitation. 1 minute late is a death sentence. The muscles in your jaw clench tight. Coldly, you swing your leg, violently kicking his bloody hand off your trousers. You do not say a single word. You tighten your rucksack straps, adjust your rifle, and decisively keep walking. His weak screams and curses are left behind, quickly dissolving into the frantic, howling wind of the Cherat Mountains. You do not turn your head to look back, not even once. Your chest is gaping and empty. You realize a razor-sharp truth. The system does not fail 90% of the candidates because they lack the strength to run. They are eliminated because they cannot endure the human part within themselves. They cannot stomach the cold-blooded ruthlessness required to complete a life-or-death mission. You pass the age of 21. You survive the blood-soaked screening phase and officially become a trainee. You are confined in Cherat for another 9 grueling months. This place exists solely to smash your old self into fragments, then forge you anew into a mindless weapon. You are shoved out of the cargo bay of a C-130 transport plane at an altitude of 30,000 feet. The thin, sub-zero air cuts your face. You flirt with death through halo. Ha-ho parachute jumps in the dead of night. You are locked in tear gas-filled rooms to learn how to manufacture C4 explosives from the cheapest chemical materials. You drill hand-to-hand combat skills, snapping an enemy's neck with bare hands until the reflex to kill becomes an unconscious instinct of your spinal cord. You are thrown into the dense jungle with a dagger, forced to chew live scorpions and swallow worms to survive behind simulated enemy lines. The final graduation test hits. The 36-mile march is repeated, but compressing the time limit down to the absolute edge of human biological limits. The final stretch. Your legs are numb, feeling as if they've been sawed off. Your knee joints are swollen, popping with every stomping step. Your vision is cloudy, blurred with sweat. The surrounding scenery is reduced to flickering, hallucinatory shadows induced by severe hypoglycemia. You see shimmering mirages of water pools on the arid ground. You stagger. Your muscles stop responding to commands from your brain. You faceplant onto the dusty dirt road. Blood streams heavily from your nostrils, licking your lips with a salty, metallic tang. Throughout your entire body, every cell screams for you to close your eyes and quit. But deep in your cerebral cortex, a snippet of code has been permanently installed. You bite your lower lip until it bleeds. You push your scraped, violently trembling hands against the gravelly ground. You let out a feral growl from your throat, forcing yourself to stand upright. You drag your limping feet across the blurry finish line ahead. You collapse and black out instantly. When you open your eyes in the infirmary, you understand. In Chariot, the system has no concept of honoring the fastest runner. They only acknowledge those with fractured nervous systems, those broken machines that refuse to ever stay down and wait to die. You are 22 years old. The sweat-soaked maroon beret is placed on your head by the officer. The silver insignia of a dagger crossed with lightning bolts is pinned tightly to your chest. You officially step into the ranks of the SSG. You become part of the organization nicknamed the Black Storks, the Dark Birds of the Sky, a haunting name that strikes terror into every enemy in the region. You operate in a patrol team consisting of 4 men. Your missions are deep intelligence reconnaissance, inside hostile territory, lightning-fast raids, and hostage rescues. You must always jump into the darkest, most suffocating corners where regular infantrymen would never dare set foot. A suffocating winter evening. Sirens shred the air. A heavily armed terrorist group has seized a high-rise administrative building, locked down the entrances, and taken dozens of civilian hostages as human shield. Your team is deployed by helicopter, fast roping down onto the roof in the thick of the night. The entire team wears gas masks, moving as silently as ghosts along the corridors. Breach. A flashbang grenade tossed through the shattered glass window turns your vision entirely white. Deafening gunfire erupts as you deliver a front kick, busting open the oak door of the holding room. Inside the shattered, smoke-filled room, a terrorist wrapped in a black scarf stands screaming maniacally. One hand points a handgun straight at the temple of a sobbing, hysterical female hostage. The other hand tightly grips a remote detonator, his thumb resting on a button that blinks with a continuous red light. Around the woman's feet are blocks of C4 explosive packed with lethal shrapnel, wired intricately with yellow and green cables. Time freezes. The life or death countdown in your head is now measured in tenths of a second. The red laser dot from your rifle is locked dead center on his forehead. You have 2 choices: risk lunging forward to strip the detonator and defuse the bomb, or directly shoot the man holding the trigger, facing the danger of his muscles convulsing involuntarily and activating the bomb. There is no time for a drop of compassion. The muzzle of your MP5 submachine gun kicks up twice in rapid succession. Bang, bang. 2 9mm rounds drill straight, with absolute precision, into the center of the terrorist's forehead, obliterating his skull. Blood and brain matter splatter onto the wall behind him. He collapses, but the final mechanical inertia of his neural network causes his thumb to spasm. It squeezes the button tight. Boom! A deafening, blinding explosion rings out. The entire room shakes violently. The shockwave throws you hard against the wall. The female hostage wearing the bomb is torn into shreds of flesh and bone, splattered across the room. The acrid smell of burnt meat mixed with the chemical stench of C4 shoots straight up your nose, but the localized blast isn't powerful enough to collapse the building's structure. Through the thick, murky smoke and dust, you see dozens of other hostages cowering in the back corner of the room, still alive, clutching their heads, and screaming in sheer panic. The smoke gradually clears. Your ears are ringing and bleeding. You stand frozen, looking down at the dark pool of blood and what remains of the innocent hostage. The feeling of guilt flashes by for a split second and then vanishes, instantly frozen over by logic. You realize the brutal truth of the SSG's blade. You never existed to play the superhero, saving everyone. You exist to make the most cold-blooded decisions, ruthlessly sacrificing an innocent person at point-blank range to save the rest of the big picture. You are 27 years old. Scars crisscrossing in the shadows earn you a promotion in rank. You officially become a team leader. You wield absolute power, determining the lives of your small patrol deep in the treacherous, rocky mountains, where radiocom signals are frequently cut off. You formulate plans yourself, making life-and-death decisions on the spot, without waiting for cumbersome directions. The sub-zero cold of the Kashmir Mountains pierces through your winter camouflage jacket. Heavy snow falls, blanketing everything in white. You and your 3 teammates lie flat under the freezing mud, setting up an ambush along a precarious mountain trail on the slope. Intelligence informants reported that a high-level insurgent leader will move through these coordinates. You lie motionless for 14 hours. Limbs go numb. Your breath turns into plumes of white smoke. Suddenly, the radio earpiece hisses with static interference. An order from the distant tactical command post comes down, ice cold. Sierra Alpha, situation has changed. Target has taken an alternate route. You reach to press the confirmation button, but through your infrared optical binoculars, down in the deep valley, a convoy of 3 Hilux pickup trucks with their headlights off is creeping closer in the dark. They are moving with extreme caution. The glowing red thermal signature of the heavy machine gun mounted in the back is clearly visible on the screen. That is the target. Central Intel was wrong. If you obediently follow the order to withdraw right now, he will escape across the border, and tomorrow dozens more civilians will die from his bombs. You press your finger onto the microphone on your collar. Cut all radio comms. Radios are malfunctioning. Entire team, take safeties off. Prepare to engage. You make the decision yourself to stay, publicly disobeying a direct order. As the lead vehicle enters the kill zone, you pull the trigger of your grenade launcher. A blinding explosion throws the vehicle into the air. All 4 of you open fire simultaneously. The crack of G3 rifles tears through the silence of the snowy mountains. Scalding brass casings clatter onto the ice. The firefight is fierce, lasting over an hour. Your force completely overwhelms them, using the high ground advantage and the element of surprise. The entire enemy formation is wiped out. The primary target is cleanly eliminated. But when the gun smoke clears, blending into the fog, you look to the bomb crater on your right. 2 young soldiers in your team are left lying forever on the rock. Their chests were shredded by machine gun fire, blood dyeing a patch of the pure white snow red. Returning to base on a helicopter with 2 black body bags. Contrary to the fear of a court-martial, you are not disciplined at all. The intelligence system confirms you killed the right strategic target. Superiors pin another promotion ribbon to your chest. You look at yourself in the mirror, smiling bitterly. This military apparatus needs cold-blooded commanders. Those who dare to defy the rules, who dare to aggressively gamble the lives of their own teammates on the board in exchange for accomplishing the nation's objectives. At 32 years old, you become a senior NCO. You participate in directing intelligence and counterterrorism operations, extending beyond the borders, deep into the gray zones of unconventional warfare. You live entirely in the shadows. You shave your head bare, grow a thick, patchy beard. Donning a tattered Times Shalwar kameez, you disguise yourself perfectly as a wandering insurgent. You are planted deep inside the hideout of an incredibly dangerous terrorist organization hiding in the mountainous region of Waziristan. The undercover mission drags on for 6 months. You eat from the same tray, sleep in the same dirt bunker, and pray with them. You memorize the names of every child, every wife of the insurgents. With the stubbornness of an old fox, you gain their absolute trust.